So imagine you're in the wagon train, you're coming up, and now you're being attacked. You've slowed down to climb the hill, you're being attacked. You fire your rifle, which at the time was a ramrod black powder round rifle ball. So that's why I believe this is the location where the attack occurred. And now I want to find the burial site for confirmation. If this area was the site of the massacre, the only time this area is mentioned again is the 1862 diarists that talk about finding all these skeletons and the signs of a massacre of an entire wagon train. So hopefully today we'll be able to see some more stuff. We'll have Lori run the dog again. We'll have Travis run the GPR. We're going to be searching this small knoll just over here. So good morning, I'm Jerry Eichhorst, president of the Idaho chapter of the Oregon-California Trails Association. We're out here today on Ditto Creek, hopefully going to find indications of a burial from a massacre from 1854. In 1854, John Thomas Jeffries opened up a new route across Idaho. It crossed the Snake River north of Fort Hall at the mouth of the Blackfoot River, looped around Craters of the Moon, and then crossed the Camas Prairie, came down across Little Camas Valley, and then came over Willow Spring and up over the hills here and dropped down Ditto Creek to where it reconnected with the main Oregon Trail about a quarter mile behind me up this little valley. In 1862, that route was used again. As they came to this area where the Jeffries route met the main Oregon Trail, several of the diarists noted that they came to the site of a massacre of a wagon train by Indians. They found burned wagons and they found human skeletons laying in the tall grass. I believe that this valley behind us here is where that massacre occurred. A few years later, a guy wrote to the paper that his father came out and picked up the bones from all of the skeletons, dug a grave, put all of the bones from the skeletons into that grave, covered it back up, and put a row of rocks around it. What we're looking for today is that grave. So let's talk a little bit about the cadaver dogs and how they can identify human remains. When something dies, it starts to decompose immediately. As it decomposes, it gives off VOCs, volatile organic compounds. There are hundreds of different chemical makeups in the VOCs. A certain configuration is what humans give off when they decompose. The dogs are trained to identify that configuration of the VOCs and indicate human remains based upon that configuration. They're trained to not indicate on animal remains, deer, rabbits, whatever. They ignore those and focus on the human remains.
Hi, I'm Lori. I am Cagney's other half, her handler. We were invited up here by Jerry to come and do some work looking for some old burials. From what we understood with the decay of the bodies that were buried, it was just bones, and the decay had actually happened on the surface. Cagney is a humane's recovery dog for search and rescue back in my county. We got into grave training with Ann Christensen. Ann actually had Rocco as Cagney's grandfather, and so it's kind of fun that Cagney gets to come and continue on some of her grandpa's work. So Cagney is 5 years old. She's an all-black German Shepherd, and she brought her out here, and I started her out off to the distance and let her work her way in. And then with the way the wind's coming today, she was picking up some odor from around this area off to my left over here. And she worked into it. She alerted in some other areas a little bit higher up from what we did a couple months ago. But it could be any number of things indicating, you know, we could be in the fringe of some of the actual scent. So we're out here with the GPR work today, just kind of following up and checking on some of the work and seeing for ourselves if we've been of any assistance.
Yes.
This is reaching out and touching people in our history. This is the closest way I know of touching our ancestors, of touching people that had this vision of the pioneer, you know, coming west, starting a new home with their family, starting new families, and for whatever reasons didn't make it all the way. And it's the same with other grave training or search and rescue work, working with law enforcement. It's a way to bring some more information together so we better know what happened to these people who've been out here kind of lost, basically. So yeah, it's touching people from our past.
So what we've done at this point is we've performed about 20 scans from the east moving to the west in a south to north and north to south direction. We've identified several places and we marked them with some flags that we feel like at about 8 to 12 inches, or in some spaces more like 3 to 5 inches, we're finding some anomalies, indicating that there might be something in those locations that is worth some further investigation. How the GPR works is based off of a dielectric. Different soils and different materials in the ground have different densities, and as the GPR scans downward, the rebound of that scan, that signal, is determined by how dense that object is. So something that's more dense is going to rebound faster, and something that's less dense, such as the surrounding soils, is going to be able to penetrate further before it rebounds back up. So we've identified with our flags where some of those more dense areas are, and anomalies is what we call them, and to identify that there's something of further investigation there. It's different from the V's that you can see as you move across it. There's a white blotch there, here, just all the way across here. So it's possible.
Because Mike's thinking that it looks like it's been turned.
A consistent disturbance.
Okay. It's really the next step after cadaver dogs identify a possible location of human remains. Bring the GPR out, have it check the area. Then if it looks promising, you start getting into, are you going to dig? Find an archaeologist and start doing an excavation.